Hi, everyone. My name is Nate Labadie. I am the Senior SE Manager here at Exabeam. And today I'm going to be walking you through using Apache NiFi to extract data out of Elasticsearch and then send that back out as Syslog. This is an extremely common scenario we'll find in the field. You'll have teams or departments that run their own log management platform. They'll set up something like Elasticsearch. They'll get data into it, but they're not quite sure how to get the data back out for analysis in other platforms like Exabeam Advanced Analytics or Data Lake. If you find this guide useful, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. All right, so what we're looking at here is Kibana. This is far and away the most common interface for Elasticsearch that you'll find. If you hear ELK, this is the K in ELK, but it's the way people go in and search across the data that they have in their Elasticsearch cluster. So in this hypothetical situation, we have an application or infrastructure team that is sending all of their DNS logs over to an Elasticsearch cluster that they set up. What we want is to extract out the raw payload from those events and then process those in our platform. So you can see when you look at this, there's lots of bits and pieces of information here. So these are things they probably added to ingest. So extracting out what the fully qualified domain name is, or extracting out the host and IP, adding geo IP information. We don't care about any of that. The only thing we want in this example is the raw message. So the original syslog event that was sent over. And you can see when you look at this, it has everything down to the syslog header itself, which will make more sense when we go through our example why we need that. Up here at the top, we have the query that was used. This will be different for every environment. It depends on what the ingest looks like, tags that were added, whatever it might be. More than likely, the Elastic administrator knows what query to use to get the data out that you're looking for. In this case, mine's just 2 tags. So I know if I do a search for the tag GeoIP and Pi-hole, it's going to bring back all my DNS logs. The second part here is important. You want to remember this. This says only go back 1 minute. So in this case here, from now to 1 minute ago. We don't really care about this. We're going to be copying and pasting this query. This particular one here is tied to Kibana. We want to make sure when we run our query, Elastic understands that we only want 1 minute of data, or we can make this 5 minutes. It's up to you. But in this case, we'll use 1 minute. For my personal experience, 1 minute's close enough to real time that it doesn't make a huge difference. You could go faster if you wanted and say every 15 seconds or every 30 seconds or even every 15 minutes. But we'll keep this 1 minute. And this will make more sense when we get into NiFi and set up the processor. So we've got our query, we've got our data, we know what we're looking for. Now let's go and translate this into a NiFi pipeline with processors to get that out. So if we switch tabs here, we can see we have a blank canvas. The very first thing we'll want to do is add a processor to fetch the data. So we take this, we drag this over, and we do a search for Elastic. You can see there's lots of Elastic related processors, typically around delete, fetch, and put, which are the major functions you'll find in Elastic. If we scroll down, though, the one we want is Query Elasticsearch HTTP. The reason we want this is because we can just copy and paste that query over. You can use the JSON query one. It uses an Elastic DSL, which if you've played around with the JSON query language, it is not the friendliest in the world. You're typically writing the queries in the text editor and then copying and pasting them over, versus this one here where we can just copy and paste our query from Kibana. So we'll take that, click Add, and it drops it into our canvas. If I double click on this, this is where we're going to put in some of the values and change a couple settings. So one of the first ones we'll want to do is if we go over to settings, is we tell it we want to terminate everything that's a failure or a retry, meaning if I hit either of these, just ignore the data. Now in production, you'd likely want to route these off to a different processor to figure out what went wrong. We're just doing this for a quick tutorial here. So we'll say if we hit either of these, just drop it. If we go over to scheduling, this part is incredibly important when you're doing a fetch. By default, NiFi will fetch that data as fast as it can over and over and over. which sounds great in theory until you realize that a couple times a second it's asking for a minute's worth of data. So you're likely going to cause all types of problems on the Elasticsearch cluster just from hammering away on it, trying to get data out. And you're going to get lots and lots of duplicate data. So every, let's say 5 times a second, it's saying, give me a minute of data. It's going to be overlapping data. So you're going to see repeats of the same event over and over. So you want to make sure the run schedule you set here matches whatever time frame you have set here. So we're going to stick with 1 minute. And this means every minute, go in and query the last minute's worth of data and bring it out. So we'll keep this here at 1 minute. And again, very important you set this correctly. You don't want to hammer away on the Elasticsearch server for no reason whatsoever. Go over to properties. There's a couple things we want to change here. We'll say the URL. So we're going to add for this URL. It starts with HTTP. If you've got SSL set up, that would be HTTPS. Then you want to put in the host name. And then the port by default is going to be 9200. This can be changed, so it might be something else, but the majority of times this will be correct. This is the server and port we're going to be querying with the Elasticsearch processor. We don't have to change any of these values here. If we scroll down, though, we'll get to query. We have to put in the query. Really, really easy. We just go back over here and copy and paste this. You can see here we have that 1 minute portion of the query, and we're doing this every minute. The index, you'll also want to find out. I know in this case, it's just Logstash. The Elasticsearch administrator will know what this is. More times than not, this is just going to be a simple name like this, which is just the index you're going to be hitting. This, in my case, for my instance, is an alias. So this alias Logstash always points over to whatever the latest index is for Logstash, which is typically Logstash dash date and then a number after that. This way I don't have to know anything beyond this. It's always going to be the most current. We say OK, we click apply, and we have our processor configured. Now, before we go in and extract out that message data, we want to make sure this is working as expected. So one of the processors you will use quite a bit that is your best friend is the debug flow processor. This lets us see the output from any of these. So we're going to move this out of the way over here, and we're going to connect these two. The only thing we care about is success. If you remember, we terminated retry and terminated failure. So anything successful, send over to debug. You can see here, it gives you a warning. It says it's got 2 relationships it doesn't know what to do with. This is the last stop in this particular case. So we're going to say terminate both of these and click apply. Warnings go away. The little red icon here just means it hasn't started. So if we right click on the canvas, we can say start. We should see it grab data if we refresh this. So in this case, it grabbed 26 records and sent them out. We can stop it because we don't need any more data. And then if you right click on debug flow and go to view data, you can see what the data actually looks like that it grabbed from that. So we can see there's a lot of different events that came out. Each one of these is roughly the same size, anywhere from 600 to 800. If we want to see what it actually was, we can click here on the eye and then go over to content. On content, we click on view, and we can see the details of what was fetched. So something on my network going to Yahoo DNS. This in itself isn't the easiest to read. So we want to change this over to formatted. So take that JSON and display it in a formatted JSON event. We can see this is really nicely structured. The great thing about JSON is it's really easy to manipulate. You can go in and extract out different fields, but it's structured. It makes going through this data very simple. The one we want right here is message. So that event I had shown you in Kibana, that's the raw payload we want to extract out. And the thing to keep in mind when you look at this, and it will make sense when we extract this, is if you think of this curly brace as the top level, the very first key that we want is message, followed by the value of that key. So top level, message, value, and that'll make sense in a second here. So let's go back over here, click OK. We can close this. We don't need it anymore. And then we can delete this relationship because we're not sending there. So the next one we want to add is evaluate, specifically evaluate JSON path. This means look at the data, find a path, extract something out of it. We click add, and it puts it here on our canvas. We'll go into the settings. We're going to say, just like before, if it's a failure or if it's unmatched, so basically things went sideways, we don't care about those. Just for example purposes, we only want data that's coming through cleanly and being extracted. Scheduling, we don't have to worry about this anymore. Before, where we were saying every minute, that's fine because that's doing the actual query. We're going to say with this processor, just process the data as soon as it comes in. It just happens to be on that 1 minute schedule because of the processor before it. So run schedule, just leave it 0. You don't have to change anything here. The Elasticsearch one we can see in the background, that's the one that's actually doing the querying. This is just going through and chewing through the data as it comes in. Properties, we don't have to change anything with this. We can leave these alone. But what we will add is a field to go in and get that data out that we want, specifically that message value. So we click the plus sign. For the property name, you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to keep it simple and stick with the name message. Click OK, and then we put in the value. Now, if you remember when I showed you that example, which I think I still have up here, that's the top level, and then it's message. The way this is represented here, the dollar is the top value, and then we want message. So whatever is contained within message, that is what we want put into our flow file as it goes through this pipe. So this right here, if all goes well, should extract out that raw payload that we have in there and ignore the rest of the data. We click OK, we click apply, and then we'll connect these up. We just want success. We can see here there's still an error. That's because it has that matched relationship. It's not going anywhere. We're going to connect that to debug to make sure it's working properly. So we can go in here. We can see I already checked these. We don't have to change anything. We'll drag this over here. We're going to say only send over the matched events. So if I move this, you can see the arrows. They're connected. We right click. We say start. We refresh this, and we've gone from 26 to 58. So we grab more data. We can stop it again, and then look at the debug flow and go back to the data to make sure it's only grabbing that matched field that we want, the message field. We look at the size. These are much smaller. That's a good sign. It means we're not grabbing everything. We can click info, go to content, go to view, and we have just the original Syslog event, which is what we were going after. That's what we want to pull out. So in this case, something from Google. Go back over here, click OK, close this, and we can get rid of this, and then we can get rid of debug flow because we don't need it anymore. Now, the next one we'll want to do is if we go in here, is add something to send this data out. So there's really two you'll use. There's put UDP and there's put syslog. And I'll bring these up here so you can see them. So I'll talk about put syslog first. You only need this if you have data that is not syslog data. So if you have something that's the result of a query against a database, that's not a syslog. If you're, say, pulling data out of a flat file, that's not a syslog. You want to use put syslog because it will add all of the proper syslog headers and give you a nice clean syslog event that's being sent out. However, because we already have syslog events, so that value we extracted, this one up here, that is a syslog event. It already has a header, it already has a priority, it already has a timestamp. We don't have to change anything. If we were to use put syslog with this, it would be adding 2 headers to it, which doesn't really do us any good. So we just want put UDP. That says take that data, put it into a UDP packet, and then send it off somewhere. Click add, and there's only a couple things we have to change with this. We're going to say terminate both of these. Now you think of it like a train. This is the last stop. Everybody has to get off. So very last piece here, everything gets terminated. Scheduling, just like the prior one, we don't have to change it. We're not going to impact Elasticsearch if we keep this 0. And then properties, we plug in where we want this data to go. So I don't have an Syslog server or anything set up to receive this. I'm just sending it off on the wire. I'll show you in TCP dump what that data looks like going out. I thought it was overkill to set up another Syslog server just for this. I just want to show you how to get the data out. So we're going to say go to this IP, on 514, which is your typical Syslog port. Click OK, click Apply. We'll connect these. We'll say only send the matched ones, and we're good. There's no errors, no warnings. Everything's just stopped. So what I'm going to do is bring up an SSH window here with TCP dump running so you can see what that output looks like. These would be the packets that were sent to your Syslog server. So if I go over here and I right click and I say start, we should see this fire up. Data will go through the pipeline and we'll see output here on the screen for TCP dump. Click start, and then sure enough, we have our events being sent off to our Syslog server. We didn't add a second Syslog header. It looks just like it did when it came in. And we've now got another tool that's processing this data. So again, great scenario here. Somebody stands up their Elasticsearch cluster, but you want to get that data out and send it over to your tool. Hopefully this is beneficial. This is the process you go through. Traditionally, it can be a little bit painful, but in the case of NiFi, it's only 3 different processors to get that completed. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments. If you found this video useful, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks and have a great day.